My fiancé wants to break off our engagement and marry my legitimate elder sister. When everyone else thinks it's only natural, my father flies into a rage and slaps my sister across the face. You little wretch! Of all the men in the world to steal, you had to steal your third sister's fiancé? For no other reason than this. He knows I'm not just the Marquis's third illegitimate daughter, but also the chief of His Majesty the Emperor's hidden guards, Jade Rakshasa. What he fears isn't me losing a marriage. What he fears is that if I'm displeased, I might do something to his precious daughter. After that slap lands on my sister's face, everyone is stunned. My father's principal wife rushes to shield her, glaring in disbelief. Marquis, are you mad? Lottie is your own flesh and blood. Marquis Yeoman glances at me, standing there with my head lowered and saying nothing, then looks toward his eldest daughter, who's weeping into her hands. His lips tremble. He finally realizes he might have gone too far, coughs twice, and speaks in a dry voice. Gracie's marriage was settled when she was a child. How can you just change it on a whim? So what? My stepmother snorts. The birth letters have already been returned. We can't very well go begging them to take them back. My father freezes and looks toward the Duke Dingguo Manor's second young master, standing not far away. Alexander G's expression is displeased. He cups his fists in my direction. This marriage is not what I, Alexander, desire. I beg third young lady's pardon. I lift my head from the crowd and walk toward him step by step, meeting his eyes. I wonder, young master, does Grandmadam know you've come today? This marriage was agreed to in person by the Duke Dingguo Manor's Grandmadam herself, after my mother saved her life. His face changes. He's a little impatient. Grandmadam is praying at Cloud Peak Temple. How could I disturb her? Third young lady, best not to entangle yourself in this. I nod, my tone calm. To be frank, young master, I have little interest in you either. But I fear this marriage is not yours to decide. It would be wiser for you to return and ask your family. His face goes dark. Grace Lua, what do you mean by that? Young master, don't be angry. I'm only telling the truth. I step back and bow to him. If we truly can dissolve this marriage with Duke Dingguo Manor, I would be most grateful. At that, mocking laughter rises all around. They say the third young lady of Marquis Yongin Manor is dense and straightforward. Turns out she's a fool as well. Exactly. Who does she think she is, that she can't be cast off? Thinks she's someone important? I ignore them and walk away on my own. In the study, I'm playing with a piece of green jade at the corner of my father's desk, staring off in silence. There's a sound at the doorway. My hand tightens instinctively. With a crisp crack, the jade shatters. When my father comes in, he happens to see the green powder in my hand. He rushes over in horror, frantically scraping at the shards in my palm. Oh, my Gracie, that was fine Heidian jade. Can't you be a little more careful? I lazily flick my hand. Sorry, father, I didn't mind my strength. Seeing his heart still bleeding, I casually changed the subject. You struck hard just now. I wonder how Charlotte's face is. He finally remembers why he came to find me, and looks a little embarrassed as he forces a smile. Gracie, your elder sister's not right in the head. She didn't mean to steal your fiancé. Don't hold it against her. I shake my head. I usually don't hold grudges. Holding grudges takes brain power. Killing solves everything. The corner of his mouth twitches. He lectures me earnestly. Your elder sister is family. You can't just kill her. Gracie, don't worry. I'll think of a way about your marriage. Bored, I sprawl on the desk. No need, father. His Majesty the Emperor told me to investigate Duke Dingguo Manor. He's not about to keep me from even getting through Duke Dingguo's front gate. His face darkens even more. So even getting married, you had an objective. I roll my eyes. What did you think? That I'd really find someone to live out my days with? Don't trouble yourself, father. Let His Majesty think of something himself. As I step out, I seem to hear him sighing and groaning. I don't understand. With such an outstanding daughter, what is there for him to worry about? 2 years ago, when he first learned who I was, he was clearly delighted. Back then, His Majesty kept him in the imperial study and patted his shoulder meaningfully. Minister Luo, you've sired a good daughter. They say my father was completely baffled, until His Majesty took him down to the dungeon. I was busy interrogating prisoners then. On the ground lay one corpse after another, each with bloody holes. When I turned around, I saw His Majesty holding my father up. At the prison door, my father's face was white as chalk as he vomited. I guess my mask must have scared him. After all, Jade Rakshasa is famed for killing without blinking. If he saw my real face, he probably wouldn't be afraid. Under His Majesty's frantic winking, I decided to give him a pleasant surprise and took off my mask. The result was less than ideal. He was so happy he fainted. When he woke up, he grabbed my hand, tears in his eyes. His Majesty is right, I have a good daughter. From then on, they didn't leave even a single chicken in my courtyard. Within a few days, Duke Dingguo Manor sends over betrothal gifts. Alexander G comes in person, filling my entire courtyard to the brim. Hands clasped behind his back, he looks at me with a mocking curl of his lips. Third young lady, your methods are impressive indeed, actually getting Her Majesty the Empress to intervene. But do you take Duke Dingguo Manor for something easily manipulated? He raises a hand. A mama behind him steps forward and passes me a birth letter. Suspicious, I open it. The name Adrian G is written on it in bold, clear strokes. My brow twitches. Well, they've swapped the groom. Adrian G is Duke Dingguo's heir, but he has always been something of an invisible man. It's said he's Duke Dingguo's legitimate son from his original wife, but has been sickly since childhood. The imperial physicians predicted he wouldn't live past 30, so no reputable family in the capital wants to marry their daughter into that house. Since Her Majesty the Empress has brought up the engagement from years ago, Duke Dingguo Manor can't say much. Order of birth must be observed. Third young lady, today I've come on my elder brother's behalf to ask for your hand as heir consort. He looks down at me from above, like he's bestowing a favor. The attitude is so annoying that my temper flares. Every one of the top 10 tortures flashes through my mind, applied to him. My father rushes out first. Second young master, changing the groom at the last moment, surely that's not appropriate. He still shows my father some respect. The Marquis may not know, but this is also my father and mother's wish. Seems His Majesty was right. Duke Dingguo Manor does have issues. They even dare play tricks in front of the Empress. Their ambitions must be no small thing. I lower my head in thought for a moment, then lift my eyes and stop my father. Father? I'll marry. As he leaves, Alexander G deliberately asks my father aside. My hearing is good. I catch his low-voiced question. I would like in time to ask for the eldest young lady's hand. I wonder if the Marquis would permit it? My father keeps a stern face. Second young master, what do you take the young ladies of my house for? Something you can pick and choose at will. Alexander G bows his head. Not at all. It's just that I've long admired the eldest young lady. My father suddenly turns, curiosity all over his face. You've barely met Lottie a few times. What is it you admire? Alexander G's cheeks flush. He speaks awkwardly. The eldest young lady is as heroic as any man. I have admired her for a long time. Huh? Eldest young lady Charlotte Luo is famously a dignified, graceful young lady from a noble house. But I can see the same question mark hanging over my father's head as over mine. Heroic? He strokes his non-existent beard, pretending calm. Alexander G nods. To speak plainly, Marquis, the eldest young lady once wore a mask and saved my life. She had all the dash of a wandering swordsman, yet the poise and elegance of a noble maiden. I truly admire her. He looks at my father, then speaks again after a moment's thought. Marquis should learn more about his own daughter. The eldest young lady is beautiful inside and out. Her identity must be extraordinary. My father's expression twists slightly. He sneaks a glance at me. You say she wore a mask? She couldn't have been Jade Rakshasa, could she? The other man hesitates, then finally nods. It was her. In any case, I wish to repay the eldest young lady's life-saving grace with my own body. I beg the Marquis to grant us this. My father can't hold it in. His mouth twists into a strange grin. They say Jade Rakshasa has killed countless people, but I've never heard she rescues anyone. Second young master, you're truly blessed. Alexander G doesn't catch the undertone. Not only his cheeks but even his ears turn red with a mix of shyness and self-satisfaction. I never expected it either. I stare silently up at the sky. I suspect Jade Rakshasa herself never expected it either. After he leaves, my father slams his palm on the table, his beard almost bristling. Out with it, Gracie. When did you ever save him? I shake my head sincerely. I don't remember. He bares his teeth. Did you save him because he's handsome? Girl, if you're going to be a cold-blooded killer, you have to treat everyone the same. How can you have special exceptions? That, I truly don't know, he sighs. Then how did he mistake your sister for you? What happened? Leaning my chin on my hand, I think for a long time and piece it together. Once, my sister lost her jade pendant. I happened to find it on a mission and kept it on me. There's a tiny letter L carved on it. That's probably why. My father sighs and sighs. Karmic entanglements, karmic entanglements. That year, in the 3rd month, when spring is warm and flowers bloom, I put on my wedding dress. Alexander G comes to fetch the bride. I hear my husband is too sick to get out of bed. Riding a tall horse, he's in high spirits as he fights his way through Marquis Yongin Manor's inner residence, spurred on by one flowery bridal poem after another. His gaze lingers on my sister's face for a long time, finally sweeping past me without much interest. My elder brother is unwell today. I've come in his place to invite 3rd young lady into the bridal sedan. Side by side, we bow to my parents. Through my bridal veil, I see my father's deeply wrinkled face scrunched into a knot. There's not a trace of a father's joy at marrying off a daughter. He looks constipated, choked up for a long while before waving a hand at me. Go on, Gracie. If you can live with it, then live with it. If not, once your husband dies, you can come back. At those words, not only does my stepmother's face turn iron blue, even the 2nd young master next door freezes. I stifle a laugh. When it comes to disgusting people, my father really is an expert. At the wedding ceremony, I finally see my new husband. He's being supported by 2 attendants. His face is deathly pale, even his lips have no color. He looks like he'll keel over any moment. If not for the bright red ceremonial robes, you'd think this wasn't a wedding but a funeral. After we finish bowing as husband and wife, he exhales in relief, smiles at me, then tilts his head and faints. Startled, I jerk away. I move fast, forgetting there's still a man leaning on my shoulder. With a thud, my freshly minted husband falls flat on the floor. Well then, I straighten my veil, fold my hands and smile awkwardly yet politely. Servants scramble to lift him. Duke Dingguo sets his teacup lid down with a heavy clack. Duchess of Dingguo knits her brow. How could you not hold the air up? What if he were injured? Alexander G sneers from the side. I fear this 3rd young lady can't wait to become a widow. Head lowered, I dare not make a sound. Heaven knows, I have no such wish, and I certainly don't want to be a widow this early. It isn't until night that Adrian G finally opens his eyes. I've already torn off my veil and changed out of the wedding robes. I'm sprawled at the table, eating chicken. Just as I bite in, a low male voice sounds from behind me. Is it good? I turn, nodding without thinking. He's wearing only inner clothes, loose over his frail body. As he pushes himself upright against the headboard, his neckline gapes, revealing a long neck and an elegant collarbone. He tips his head back and closes his eyes. His throat moves. There's something even better here. With a clatter, the chicken leg drops to the floor. Even a straight woman like me belatedly understands what he means. I have to admit, though Adrian G looks half dead, his face is exquisite. If Alexander G is a cool, refined gentleman bamboo, then Adrian is a noble, aloof moon above the clouds. Distant and ungraspable, yet right in front of me, within reach. Eyes glazed, I lower my head in thought. Is this appropriate? With such beauty before me, forget it. I'll think of it as a little perk on a mission. Wiping the grease from my hands, I reach out and cup his cheek. He doesn't resist, letting me do as I please. Just as I'm working enthusiastically and my hand is reaching for his belt, a soft, secret bird call sounds outside the window. I pause, ignore it, and keep pulling. The call comes again. I grab a nearby ornament and hurl it toward the window. The sound cuts off. I'm satisfied. Adrian blinks, a little startled. There's a faint mist in his dark eyes. Gracie, what's wrong? I smile slightly and answer offhand. Nothing. I thought I heard a mouse. That's one of our hidden guards' coded signals. Ordinary people can't hear it. I don't know what madness they're up to, calling me now of all times. Before I can resume, the call sounds yet again. This time it's no longer low. There's a hint of urgency. I fall silent, then get up without a word and start putting my clothes back on. Adrian senses something off. His dark eyes fix on me. Is it that you don't like this, Gracie? I tug the corner of my mouth and answer straight-faced. You might not believe this, husband, but I've got work. I have to go kill someone. As he stares wide-eyed, I chop him on the neck, knocking him out, then pull on my night gear and slip out. Marquis William Wei. The words on the slip are in His Majesty's own hand. As the fire eats away the last stroke, I put on my ghost mask and draw a moonblade. The cold gleam of the steel fills my pupils, the biting killing intent impossible to hide. I narrow my eyes, my lips curl into a bloodthirsty smile. They say William Wei, General Wei, is unmatched in martial skill. I've long wanted to test him. Adrian G. sleeps very soundly that night. By the time he wakes, I'm already at my dressing table doing my hair. Rubbing the back of his neck as if it aches, he speaks hoarsely. Gracie, did I faint again last night? I turn and give him a wounded look. You did. On our wedding night, too. I waited a long time. Forget it. My husband's health is poor. I can't demand too much. I wear the perfect expression of a patient, virtuous wife swallowing her grievances. He lowers his head, then looks up again, seeming puzzled. Last night, I felt something was wrong. Did you see anything suspicious, my lady? I blink. What? No. He frowns. Before I blacked out, I vaguely heard you say you had work to do. I keep my face calm. You misheard. Damn man. Half dead as he is, his memory's still sharp. I see. Seems my illness has worsened. I'm hearing things now. He props his forehead and lets out a self-mocking laugh. I'm sorry, third young lady Luo. To marry me is a grievance for you. Silent, I look at him and give a small nod. As long as you know. On the bride's second day, we must serve tea. Adrian G. accompanies me through the formalities. By the end, his forehead is beaded with cold sweat and he's about to collapse. I watch him go back to his room, envious, and stand dutifully behind Duchess of Dingguo to learn the rules. She sits while I stand. She drinks tea and I hand her the cup. She washes and I carry the basin. Seeing my listless expression, the mama at her side warns me. Careful now, Herr Consort. Wait till you finish serving madam before you go look after the heir. Our madam is already a very good mother-in-law. She's not wrong. No matter what mistakes I make, the Duchess only spares me a bland glance. It's always a servant who comes over to instruct me. It's not that she's good. It's that she doesn't think I'm worth her attention. Near noon, she grows visibly distracted. Only when a maid reports that the Duke has returned does she clutch her handkerchief, focus, and speak with a hint of worry. What business could there be to drag the Duke to the palace so early? Duke Dingguo drinks a cup of tea first, then slowly opens his mouth. There's big news. He sets down the cup and enunciates each word. Marquis William Wei is dead. What? My mother-in-law clearly stiffens, shocked, and faintly flustered. General Wei was highly skilled. How could he die so easily? The Duke's gaze grows dark. When they found him, he was hanging from a tree. His body bore many wounds, signs of fierce combat. The fatal injury was the gash across his throat. My mother-in-law's fingers crumple her handkerchief. Her voice trembles. General Wei has always been a loyal hero, a man of spotless reputation. Who would want him dead? Who has the skill to kill him? The Duke sighs and reaches for his tea again, only to find the cup empty. My mother-in-law darts a glare at me, then pours for him herself and hands it over. I rub my nose and retreat a step. No wonder His Majesty always says I have neither brains nor tact. The Duke takes a sip and speaks again. Some say the wound looks like it was made by Moonblade. Jade Rakshasa? My mother-in-law screams. The world knows Jade Rakshasa's weapon is Moonblade. The world also knows Jade Rakshasa belongs to His Majesty. Alexander G., standing silently by the Duke all this while, finally speaks. Father, these are only rumors. Besides, His Majesty has already declared this was not Jade Rakshasa's doing. I stifle a yawn. His Majesty said, people must both suspect me and not be able to confirm it. I don't know what he's playing at. The old man's mind runs deep. Impossible to read. The 4 characters, a ruler's word is law. I'm starting to forget what they look like. The Duke nods. Quite so. Since His Majesty has spoken, this matter ends here. Alex, our house has little contact with Marquis Wuan. We need only observe the proper courtesies. There's no need for any more than that. For days, I stand behind my mother-in-law learning the rules. She seems the same as ever and barely interacts with me, but my instinct says she's preoccupied. Alexander G., that fool, doesn't see it. He chooses this moment to propose marrying Marquis Yongyan's legitimate daughter, my elder sister. My mother-in-law's jade prayer beads fly from her hand. She lets out a furious laugh. Well now, has Duke Dingguo Manor lost the ability to marry a bride? One after another, you must all wed those girls from Marquis Yong'an Manor? Have you no shame left? Alexander G. kneels. Please calm your anger, mother. The person your son has always loved is the eldest young lady Luo. Besides, he glances at me and swallows the rest. My mother-in-law snorts and waves her hand for me to withdraw. Annoying. I don't even get to watch the show. On my way out, a question occurs to me. If my sister really does marry in, should I call her elder sister? Or sister-in-law? That's a question. I'll ask father later. A few days pass and my mother-in-law tells me to go out for a spring outing to enjoy the flowers. Her tone is uncharacteristically gentle. You've married in for some time and never gone out. You may invite a few people to accompany you. I'll have Alex escort you. I nod. I can go on an outing, but I don't need to invite anyone. I like to play alone. Meeting my clear, serious gaze, the corner of her mouth twitches. Don't you get on well with your elder sister from your parents' home? You can go together. Ah, mother misremembers. She's the one I don't get on with at all. She says nothing. Nanny Bai steps out with a smile to smooth things over. Oh my hair consort, madam only means for you to keep in touch with your family. If she says to invite eldest young lady Luo, then invite her. A light goes on in my head. I understand at once and call out loudly. I see now, mother. You want to create chances for second young master and my sister to be together, don't you? Who knows what Alexander G told her that she agreed so quickly. I pout. You should have said so earlier. I'll make sure to stay far away and not disturb their lovey-dovey talk. Mother-in-law, I keep my word. Once we get to Cloud Peak Mountain, I roll away. But my sister grabs me, her eyes full of grievance. Where are you going? You invite me out and then run off? I'm blunt. Charlotte, aren't you interested in second young master? My mother-in-law wants me to make opportunities for you two. Her eyes widen. After a while, her cheeks flush and she turns away with a resentful huff. You're already married. How can you still talk like that? I don't know how Duke Dingguo Manor puts up with you. Curious, I rest my chin in my hand and study her. So you don't like second young master? She's silent a long time, then nods. But father won't allow it. Why not? Father says he doesn't truly love me. He isn't a good match. Father also said if I marry him, I'll regret it, and so will he. I tilt my head. Is father worried that the one Alexander truly loves is Jade Rakshasa? The thought gives me a chill. Even so, when second young master wanders over, my sister doesn't push him away. I pull Miss Flora Moo, who's only here to make up the numbers, off to the side and let them talk. Flora is my close friend, just as straightforward and rough as I am. She taps the little wooden sign of her fortune-telling stall. Grace Luo, I'm telling you, those two won't end up together. I nod obediently. Everything you say is right. Flora and I drift around aimlessly for most of the day. By the time the light begins to fade, the lovebirds finally come back. We each get into our own carriage. Maybe by coincidence, maybe not. Alexander G's horse keeps a few paces behind my sister's. While their eyes are busy flirting, Flora and I are lying down in the carriage taking a nap. That's why we're caught off guard when the black-clad men appear. The clash of steel and the chorus of groans erupt in the valley outside. I frown, listening. These men are well-trained, each highly skilled, clearly determined to kill us. If I don't intervene, they might all die. Just as I'm gripping Moonblade and about to jump out, Alexander G bursts in. Sword in hand, he grabs my arm in a rush. Come with me, quickly. Yanked off balance, I stumble after him. He speaks fast. These are death soldiers. If we don't flee, we'll die here. Move. Dodging and running with him, I notice something off. There aren't many death soldiers on our side. More than that, the few fighting Alexander seem to match him evenly. But in my experience, any one of these men could kill him with a single stroke. Which means these black-clad men know Alexander and are deliberately holding back. I think of one person. Duchess of Dingguo. She doesn't like my sister, yet she told me to invite them out together. Now she set this ambush. There can be only one reason. Alexander told her who my sister supposedly is. The one she truly wants dead isn't my sister, but Jade Rakshasa. At that thought, I yank Alexander's collar. Where is my sister? He flicks my hand away with distaste, speaking with open scorn. Do you think everyone's as useless as you? Your sister is formidable. Don't worry, those men together aren't her match. He even looks oddly proud. The moment I saw those villains, I ran here to save you. Your sister is different. She doesn't need me. And besides, reinforcements are already on their way to her. She shouldn't be hurt. I grind my teeth. Shouldn't be hurt. My ass. I slam a kick into him, then sprint back the way we came. Leaping from eve to eve, a knot of anxiety tightens in my chest. If my sister dies, how will I explain it to father? My steps grow faster and more urgent. By the time I arrive, there's no sign of her among the corpses. Following faint traces, I reach the mouth of a cave. From inside come the struggles and sobs of a woman and the lewd laughter of men. The master really went overboard, sending so many for one delicate little girl. Exactly. Talk about killing a chicken with an ox knife. Aside from her pretty face, she doesn't look dangerous at all. We can have our fun before we kill her. There's still... His eyes bulge in disbelief as he stares at the blade in his chest. He turns, finger trembling as he points at the onrushing shadow. Moonblade, you're... Jade Rakshasa. With the last syllable he falls. The rest have nowhere to run. They shrink back, trembling, terror thick in the air. They've all heard of Jade Rakshasa, no doubt. Pity. For all their fear, they don't realize that the target their master wants dead is Jade Rakshasa herself. One of the smarter ones lunges and grabs my weeping sister, arms cinched around her throat. Don't come closer. One more step and I'll kill her. I don't even bother lifting an eyelid. I flick my wrist. Half an arm flies through the air. Before he can react, Moonblade is buried in his heart. They may never understand. In the face of absolute power, all such threats are nothing but a bad joke. When Alexander G arrives, I've just finished dressing my sister. Fortunately, the worst hasn't happened. Otherwise, I truly wouldn't know how to face my father. Alexander scans the carnage, then looks at Moonblade, still dripping blood. His voice is hoarse. So who is Jade Rakshasa? I glance at him. You sick or something, second young master? Anyone who saves you, you feel obliged to marry? You're not a child. Can't you figure out who you actually like? His gaze lands on my sister, unconscious in my arms. His pupils constrict. So Lottie, isn't her? Why? Why was the jade pendant on my rescuer engraved with her name? Why did Marquis Yongan never deny it? I sneer. So the pendant I recovered for my sister got picked up by you. As for my father, he couldn't be bothered to correct you. He shudders all over and stumbles back, mumbling. So all my feelings were nothing but a joke. So it was you. His head droops. His whole posture collapses, like he can't accept it. My expression cools. Get lost, second young master. Don't be an eyesore. At last he can't take it, he turns and flees. First I take my sister back to Marquis Yongan Manor. My father is pacing back and forth. When he sees me, he grabs my hand in panic. Gracie, bad news. Duke Dingguo entered the palace and still hasn't returned. The manor is surrounded. I understand instantly. His Majesty has made his move. Seeing me so calm, my father relaxes a little and sighs. As long as you know what you're doing, I fear this time there'll be a great upheaval. Duke Dingguo Manor is indeed surrounded. The moment my carriage reaches the gate, I'm seized and tossed inside. I give Commander Zhao, who's guarding the gate, a venomous glare, and add him to my list. I don't go to my mother-in-law. I go find my bargain bin husband. He's coughing his lungs out. When he sees me, he smiles. Gracie, you're back. I look him over from head to toe. They haven't troubled you, have they? He shakes his head and is just about to speak when noisy arguing erupts at the door. Move aside. By imperial order, all kin of Duke Dingguo Manor are to be thrown into the sky prison. Commander Zhao charges in right after that. Without so much as a glance, he reaches for Adrian G. My husband staggers, hacking violently, his face flushing red. Wait. Anger flares in my chest. I jab a finger at Commander Zhao's nose. If anything happens to my husband, you and I are done. Anyone who lays a hand on mine is asking for death. Pushing him away, I pat Adrian's back to soothe him. He looks up at me and smiles. Gracie cares about me. I'm very happy. When he smiles, it's like spring flowers opening. My heart wobbles. I quickly steady myself, shoot a glare at Commander Zhao, eyeing us like a hawk, then turn back with a smile. You're tired, husband. Rest. My hand, patting his back, slides to his neck. With a chop, I knock him out. Commander Zhao watches my movements, his expression somber. After clearing the room with a gesture, he speaks in a low voice. Jade Rakshasa, this is His Majesty's will. He already has evidence. Duke Dingguo Manor cannot escape this calamity. I snort. Of course, I provided the evidence. How could I not know? But I tap the table, thinking. My husband's body is weak, the bed can't be too hard, the quilts can't be too thin, and the cell can't be too cold. The sky prison is damp, you'll need charcoal braziers. And not cheap charcoal, the best golden thread charcoal, or he'll choke on the smoke. All right, go arrange it. His face goes green, then white, then green again. After a long time, he squeezes out a single word. Fine. In no time, Duke Dingguo Manor is half empty. Deep in the sky prison, I pull on my special black robe and ghost mask and push open the heaviest door. Inside is the mastermind behind it all, my mother-in-law, Duchess of Dingguo. She hasn't been tortured. Though bound to a frame, she still looks elegant and noble, not the least bit disheveled. Seeing me, her eyes widen, then quickly calm. She gives a bitter little smile. I knew it. How could those trash kill Jade Rakshasa with Moonblade? I raise a brow. You wanted me dead for Marquis Juan's sake, didn't you? You must be devastated that your old lover died after serving you so long, right, Princess Luna? She stares at me coldly. You deserve to die. I've long known she's a survivor of the previous dynasty, Princess Luna. By some means, she disguised herself as a loyal subject and married Duke Dingguo. Marquis Juan William Wei was the most important card in her hand. Too bad I killed him. She thought she'd hidden everything flawlessly. She never realized others were watching, not that there were no cracks at all. At the very least, when William Wei died, she lost control. Miss Luo, those trash couldn't kill you. My son will avenge me one day. I shrug. Perhaps you don't know, second young master is in the next cell. What? Her composure shatters. You left him a way out, didn't you? Pity. He got caught anyway, and he walked straight into it himself. He never imagined he's descended from the previous dynasty's traitors, or that his real father is the dead Marquis Juan. He hates it all. Veins stand out in her eyes as she stares at me, nearly rabid. Charlotte Luo, don't you love my son? How can you be so cruel? A muffled laugh sounds from behind my mask. Forget it. I'll let her die with the truth. My fingers move, the mask falls. I smile brightly. Long time no see, mother. Her manic expression freezes. Her gaze sticks to my face. So, it's you, haha. She bursts into loud laughter that echoes off the stone walls, eerie and chilling. After a long while, she stops, tears trailing down her cheeks. So it was you. Her head droops. Gone is her former poise. She looks like someone who's finally accepted fate. So the bastard emperor suspected me long ago. I had already lost. Before reporting back to His Majesty, I go to see Adrian G. With his health this poor, who knows how long he'll last. In the dim light of an oil lamp, he's reading. Occasionally he coughs, a low, hoarse sound. Masked and voice altered, I ask, is the air comfortable here? He lifts his head from the page and smiles faintly. Well enough. May I ask, my lord, how your lady fares? My breath catches. I don't know how to answer, so I nod vaguely. His smile turns gentle. Might I see her? With all this happening, she must be terrified. I freeze. At a loss, I raise my hand again, planning to knock him out as usual. If you can't solve the problem, solve the person who asked it. But he seems to have expected it. He lifts a hand and catches my wrist, smiling with a hint of mischief. Gracie, do you think you're chopping cabbage every day? He pulls off my mask, revealing my stunned face. You knew? Covering his lips, he coughs a few times, then speaks slowly. I only found out recently. You strut around like this every time, confident that I'll drop dead soon. It's hard not to notice. I feel a little sheepish and tug his sleeve. Well, sorry about that. He shakes his head. It's fine, it's Duke Dingguo Manor's fate. I think for a moment. Duke Dingguo himself didn't plot treason, he was deceived. You had nothing to do with it at all. I'll do my best to spare your lives. Even as I say it, I know this is a grave case. It'll be hard for them to escape punishment. He smiles, all soft affection, with a thread of happiness in his tone. So Gracie can't bear to see me die? He turns his head to look at me. The flickering lamplight sets off his bewitching face, more demon than man. I swallow and answer. At least not yet. He chuckles, then gently puts the mask back on me. His fingers brush the cold surface, and his voice is warm. Go, Gracie. Make your report to His Majesty. He'll tell you everything. In the imperial study, His Majesty pulls me up himself and pats my shoulder kindly. "Third Luo, you've done well." I weigh my words, then ask, "Your Majesty, will you kill Adrian G. and Duke Dingguo?" He arches a brow. "Which one are you really asking about?" I don't even have to think. "My husband, of course." Then I add, "But if Duke Dingguo dies, he'll be heartbroken. He's already sickly. If his grief kills him too." His Majesty shakes his head helplessly. "Third Luo, Duke Dingguo's heir is not as weak as you think." His eyes narrow, expression unreadable. "Do you know why I began investigating Duke Dingguo Manor? Because I received a letter from the heir himself. He had already noticed something wrong with the Duchess, and after checking, confirmed her ties to the previous dynasty's rebels. But the Duke loves his wife deeply. The heir didn't dare gamble, so he reported to me. Remember the list I showed you of the previous dynasty's remnant contacts? The first name was William Wei. That list came from Adrian G." I interrupt. "So he knew from the start that I work for His Majesty?" His Majesty shakes his head. "I didn't fully trust him. How could I let him know? He understood that once this came to light, Duke Dingguo Manor would face annihilation, so his only request was that I spare the Duke's life." "So did your Majesty agree?" He looks at me steadily. "I did not. I told him, between the Duke and the heir, only one could live. I don't ask further. I don't need to." Of course Adrian, certain he wouldn't live long, would leave survival to his father. For some reason, a dull ache stirs in my chest. I grip my knife hilt, trying to press the feeling down, but His Majesty's gaze falls on my hand, and he suddenly smiles. However, I've changed my mind. I stare at him, dumbfounded. He's always so lofty and distant, yet now his eyes are strangely gentle. He reaches out and smooths my hair. His voice is very soft. "It's rare for Jade Rakshasa to care even a little about someone. I can hardly bear to tear you apart. I'll grant you too your wish." That 5th month, Princess Luna and second young master Alexander G. are executed as traitors of the previous dynasty. All their co-conspirators are hunted down and killed. Duke Dingguo and his heir, having discovered the plot early, and then rendered service in suppressing the rebellion, are allowed to atone with merit and spared from death. The manor's rank is reduced. Duke Dingguo becomes Marquis Anding. Adrian G. inherits the title. Duke Dingguo, racked with remorse, takes vows at Guangye Temple and withdraws from the world. 3 years later, the name of Marquis Anding's wife, Grace Luo, Jade Rakshasa, resounds throughout the land. By imperial decree, His Majesty bestows a title upon her, Marquise Moonblade. His Majesty's extra. Everyone says I command the wealth of the 4 seas, that I am master of this realm. But in truth, there is someone I cannot let go of. Every time I see Grace Luo, the longing grows stronger. I must admit, I miss her. Gracie's mother. She was a special girl. At our first meeting, she said she wanted to fall in love with me. I didn't know what that meant. I only thought her behavior frivolous. She pestered me for a long time. Gradually, I realized her liveliness and brightness had their charms. Until she told me she wanted us to be one couple for life, till death do us part. By then, we were already deeply entangled in feeling, but I knew I couldn't give her that. I carried too many expectations on my shoulders. Even if I was willing, those behind me were not. She was bitterly disappointed and wanted to leave. By then, though, she was already with child. I had no choice but to confine her in a separate residence, hoping she would change her mind. I never expected her to take poison and go into premature labor. I couldn't save her. But I saved our child. I wasn't yet married. For the sake of the greater good, I couldn't acknowledge this child. All I could do was watch her call another man father. I named her Grace. She is extraordinarily bright and took to martial arts from a young age, just as I did. Perhaps because of the poison, she was born with a lack of emotion. I had people watch over her in secret, guiding her step by step into the role of Jade Rakshasa. I even allowed her, a woman, to hold such high rank. Her mother once said a woman must have a foundation of her own, must not live by clinging to a man. If she could see this, perhaps she would feel some comfort. Adrian G's appearance was an accident. I never expected Gracie to take an interest in him. She's like her mother, judging entirely by looks. He's the first man she's ever shown any fondness for, despite his serious illness and intricate mind. But that's all right. Illness, I can always find the greatest physicians. Schemes, I can watch for her. As long as I draw breath, I can keep her safe.